All right, so these terms, this is your taxonomic hierarchy. Starting with the largest taxon is the domain, which is a group of similar kingdoms. Now notice as you read through these terms, they all read basically the same, okay? So you're really going to have to think about this more than it might seem. But basically, whatever level you're on, notice a kingdom is a group of similar phyla, which is plural for phylum. And then when you get down here, genera is plural for genus. So a kingdom, going back to that, is a group of similar phyla. A phylum is a group of similar classes. So it's whatever level you're at, it's a group of similar, of whatever level is beneath that. Okay, think of domain as the largest box and species as the smallest box if you had nested boxes, right? And species has a different definition here because it's a group of specific individuals that can breed and produce fertile offspring that are not members of another species. And then a species, as it says there, is just the smallest recognizable group, okay? So if I were to say to you, two organisms are in the same order, right? That means they have to be in the same class, phylum, kingdom, and domain. But if two organisms are in the same order, maybe they're in the same family. Maybe they're not. Okay, if they're not in the same family, then they also can't be in the same genus and the same species. Okay, so that's the kind of, if I were to ask you that type of question, that's the kind of question where you have to really stop and think about this a little bit more than just memorizing domain through species. And your classic mnemonic device is King Philip came over from Great Spain for kingdom through species, and then when domain got added, because it's a newer taxonomic category, that a lot of people just say dumb King Philip. Okay, so dumb King Philip came over from Great Spain. And you might want to write that down as far as a way to remember that. So let's look at this pictorially. So here is domain on the right. Okay, so this is domain eukarya, and so that's going to have a protist, a fungus, a plant, and then a bunch of animals, okay, because those are your four eukaryotic groups of organisms. Then we get to kingdom Animalia, and we're missing the fungus, the plant, and the protist, because this is just animals. Then we get to phylum Chordata. This is going to include just your vertebrate organisms for what we know. There are two invertebrate groups, but we don't ever really talk about those. So we're missing the starfish, the butterfly, and the sponge. Okay, and then notice as you continue up to here, you lose an organism or two with every level that we go smaller and smaller. Okay, again, nested boxes. So mammals have hair or fur and feed young from mammary glands. Carnivores are going to be meat eaters. Okay, then we get to Ursidae. That's all your bears. One thing for me to mention here, most family names end in AE. Okay, so just kind of FYI, nothing that I'm asking you to memorize. So then we get to the genus Ursus, and notice that's got three different bears pictured there, the polar bear, grizzly bear, and then the black bear at the top. The grizzly is the brown one. And then the specific species being highlighted is the American black bear, or Ursus americanus. And notice that Ursus americanus is italicized, okay, and that the Ursus is capitalized.